Hi, hello, namaste. Welcome back to Needs of Children. Dear students, we are discussing about 10th standard English medium social science. In that, sociology lesson number 3, social movements. Let's come to what are the very important learning points from this lesson. In this unit, you learn meaning, nature, origin and evolution of social movement. Environment movement, alcohol prohibition movement, workers movement, women's movement, farmers movement, untouchability prohibition movement. So let's come to the social movement and its meaning, nature. Social movement is related to a natural resistant social process that is related to social mobility, changes and transitions. So these are usually, generally, we are going to be identified in our environment. A social movement is a planned one, which means every movement has a goal and plans to achieve it through a program of action. This movement is natural, as they have been happening, happened and will be happening in future. They have been a part of human society since its evolution. It is natural for any organism to oppose things when something challenges its very existence. Human beings are also part of this process. Many movements have been taking place and have taken place opposing exploitation at personal as well as community level. So let's come to what is the nature of social movement. Resistance offered at personal level, it is not called as social movement. A social movement is community based program. Among various community process, social movement is important and unique, and it is marked by word used in Kannada such as protest, campaign, struggle, revolution, conflicts. In some other words we can identify it. A social movement is a social platform that enables people to showcase their needs and visions. An example of this, that of Mahatma Gandhi, believed in the beginning that God is truth. After he interacted with people like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and others, finally started truth is God. This is the result of Gandhiji's interaction with various personalities in various social movements. Hence, every social movement creates new models of social changes. So let's come to the origin of movements, where it has been took the birth of movements. Before the 19th century, most of the environment resource was a public property. With the emergence of industrialization, governments and private companies started claiming ownership on them. Many legal provisions were brought into control. Such initiatives, prohibitions were put on use of natural fuel. This curtailed the access of tribal people who are dependent on this in their natural setting. Many reformers raised their voice against this. Even the farmers' movements, environment movements, women's movements and other social movements have to be understood from this background. Social movements have taken place in all places and all times. Many movements have brought in permanent social changes like our Indian independence. Indian independence movement is one such example that has brought in the permanent change. Even you have studied, dear children, in the history part how our Indians fought for our Indian independence. Such movements fail to leave permanent impacts. In the history of India, we come across many movements like Bhakti movement, leaving a strong impact on the society. Even students, people like Buddha, Mahavira, Basava, Ambedkar, Sharanas, Dasas, Sufis have fought and led movements against the caste system. This system allowed upward mobility. So these are all the examples and their stories, how they are struggled against the practices of social evils. So these are all the concepts I think you have been studied, dear children. So let's come to the origin and evolution of movements. We will going to get the information, students. Usually in our daily life we come across many minor frictions in the social life. Many of them arise there itself and vanish later. They create temporary mobility for a moment. These are recognized as the beginning of social movement. At later stage, mob assembles, leading to a mob violence. Many a times, without any favorable circumstances, also violence starts. So this is about the origin and evolution of movements. Dear students, let's come to the next, the concept of mob. Here, mob. What is the concept of mob? Mob is a collection of people which collects in place of indulgence in a temporary thinking, demands and the related emotional expression. Even a group of people who have gathered around to know more about an accident are examples of mobs. So you can see here, without any intention they have been gathered in the place where it is took the accident. This expression we can call it as a mob behavior. These types of sources later turned into a social movement. A mob is a collection of people who have assembled at a particular point without any prior plan and gathered to express some decision. For example, a group of people who have collected in front of a theater to watch movie, or a group of people who have gathered around to know more about an accident are examples of mob. Many times unrestrained the behavior of people gathered in a mob reflects social shortcomings of that particular society. Often people express their dissatisfaction with many social institutions. People also express their dissatisfaction with many government policies, attitudes and decisions on a specific programs. Dear students, even Anna Hazara's, that's Jan Lokpal fight, about the incident you have been studied, either maybe you came to know through the medias, how the people they have gathered and supported to Anna Hazara. Let's come to the concept of mob violence. Mob violence is another example of mob behavior. When the behavior of mob turns violent, then it is called as mob violence. There would be no unity in mob violence. Here, anti-social elements lead the mob towards violence, destroying public property. What is the mob violence nature? Dear students, they create confusion in the beginning. Out of confusion, violence grows out. Many a times, mob violence result in major deaths. There would be no definite reasons for the behavior of mob in violent mood. They create a serious law and order situation. So here are some of the incidents how the mob violence will be going to create, like caste violence, political violence, racial violence, communal violence are the examples for the mob violence. This violence has now become very active in rural areas also. Many issues related to caste, land and religion have become the motivating factors. Mob violence leads to the dominance of anti-social elements. There would be no definitive reasons for the behavior of mob in violent mood. Mob violence does not last for longer duration. They come to an end at one point of the time. Then how can we control mobs? Here are some points like effective use of police, military, other agencies of the government, law and many others we can control the mobs. So this is about the concept of the mob and what are the effects of the mob will be going to create and how to control the mob. So let's come to here are some of the environmental movements. Environmental movements are the scientific movements aimed at preserving the biological system. The scientific protest aimed at curtailing the various activities that are polluting the earth, air and water. They never appear instantly. They are the result of many years of exploitations of nature and tribal people. For example, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha was formed in the year 1930. But years before this formation, tribal people of Jharkhand had opposed the actions of companies that rendered thousands of tribal people displaced due to mining activities. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is one such a result of these agitations. Many movements started emerging after various developmental activities founded by the World Bank resulted in the displacement of tribal people. All the movements opposing rising global temperature, exploitation of water resources are grouped under environmental movements. Many intellectuals and academicians have joined hands with the common people in holding movements to protect environment. Now let's understand various environmental movements in brief one by one. So among that, the first one, it is considered as a Chipko movement. So how and where it was happened? Chipko movement. The government had issued license to cut 2,500 trees belonging to Raini village of Tehri Garhwal district. The woman who learnt about this decided to hug the trees in order to protect them so that environment remains protected. This movement of hugging is called as Chipko movement. Though a woman was instrumental behind this movement, its effects were long lasting. Due to this movement, the permission given to cut the trees was withdrawn. Another one movement that is called as Appiko movement of Karnataka. The Appiko movement was started in 1983 by the villagers of Salyani. The local people opposed the move of the contractor to cut trees in Kalase forest. They stood hugging the trees. This aims of Appiko movement: protect trees from smuggling. They also aimed at increasing awareness among the people about the importance of growing forests. Even one more, the very important movement that is called as Narmada Bachao Andolan. The huge dam built across the river Narmada under Sardar Sarovar project displaced local tribal people, as scientific studies found that the dam would affect the sensitive ecological balance of the river. The people agitated against the dam under the leadership of Medha Patkar. This movement has been going on for a long period. One more, the Silent Valley movement. A dam was proposed to build in the Silent Valley of Palghat of Kerala. The building of dam threatened the sensitive ecological balance of the Silent Valley. People from Kerala, Shastra Prasiddha and wildlife enthusiasts opposed this project. Finally, the movement was successful in installing the dam and protecting the Silent Valley's sensitive ecological balance. And one more movement, Coastal Karnataka Environment Movement. What are the reasons for this? People of Mangaluru opposed against the Mangaluru refineries and petrochemical limited, which discharged harmful chemicals into the sea, threatening the local environment. This movement also opposed the establishment of Nandikuru thermal power plant and special economic zone. And one more movement opposing Kaiga nuclear power plant. The move opposed the establishment of Kaiga nuclear plant was undertaken by the people of coastal Karnataka under the leadership of Shivarama Kalanta, the great poet of Karnataka. So reasons behind this movement opposing Kaiga nuclear power plant. Dear students, reasons for vast deforestation takes place, the threat of pollution from nuclear radiation, numerous species would spoil the ecosystem, hence the movement opposed the establishment of Kaiga nuclear reactor. So finally, the people like Medha Patkar, Sundarlal Bahuguna and others have agitated for a long time to achieve success in their endeavor. Only in case of environment movements, mass hunger protests have taken place after the attainment of independence. Ecology is not an independent science. It is a part of life. So these are the information about the mob and the concept of the environmental movements. So that's it about the today's session. Students, I hope you have understood till now what we are discussed. In case if you having any doubts, you can comment in the comment box. I will solve your doubts. I will come back with the next video. Until, keep watching my channel. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you in the next session. Bye bye. Take care.